And now we are live. Small technical issues, but we're back. Like I said, and you didn't hear, we are looking at War of the Vikings here today on Gamereactor Live. I'm hailing back to my roots, since I am, of course, of Viking blood from Iceland, and I'm going to be chopping up some Saxon heads for the next couple of hours. Before we do that, I have Gordon van Dyke, the executive producer of the War of franchise, joining us through the magic of the internet here on Skype. Hey Gordon, what's up?
Not much. I'm in Stockholm, another origin of great Viking epic tales, as well as just like Iceland. Quick question though: have you've been playing? I'm assuming a little bit,
yes,
correct?
I think I clocked in. I clocked in about 9 hours or so.
Have you heard them speak anything familiar to you?
Yes.
Were you able to understand?
Okay. I was going to bring this up a little bit later, but I must commend you on the Icelandic voiceover in the game. It is exemplary.
Somebody said they think we're the first game ever to have Icelandic voice acting.
Yeah, and an accurate one at that as well.
Yeah, that was a very important part of it. So sorry to jump ahead,
no problem.
but it was a really important thing in our battle chatter that we wanted people to feel as close to Viking. Now, of course, nobody knows exactly how Old Norse sounded, which is what the those who were going on the excursions that were called to Vik, and eventually became a way of describing those who went out on those voyages, called Vikings now. We figured the closest thing we could get to that was Icelandic. It's the closest to Old Norse, and you guys also take your language very seriously, and you don't just adopt words like they do in Swedish actually, and just kind of pronounce it slightly differently, but you actually give things proper names in Icelandic, and I think that I thought it was a great choice for us to go with, and then we did Old English for the Saxons because that's what they spoke, but I think it was the Icelandic turn out much. I really love that when I'm playing and I hear that. It just really kind of brings out the essence of the game for me.
For sure. And like I said, it's I've been watching the TV series Vikings on the History Channel, and they try to bring in like Icelandic sentences every now and again, but I think every single character in that series has a different pronunciation of Ragnar Lothbrok. But it was very refreshing playing the game and actually, hearing proper Icelandic. And I think
great.
I actually,
feels good.
I think I actually could recognize some of the actors from their voices.
Nice. Yeah, we tried to get some really good actors for that. And but a funny thing is, I actually looked this up on IMDb. The actor that plays Ragnar, he's Australian. Yeah. So I think what was it, the guy that plays they call him they gave him a different name. It sounds like Loki is
Floki.
Yeah, but anyways, Loki. Yeah, he's Swedish. He's I think one of the few actual Scandinavian actors in that series.
But you also have some sort of Old English for the Saxons, if I heard correctly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I liked that. So, I mean, as far as the Viking shows, that's probably the closest, representation I've seen for quite some time. Usually it's very exaggerated or, steeped in a lot of the mythos that kind of surrounds Vikings that was, not necessarily correct or true. Especially since they're extremely clean and well-groomed culture, the Norse culture.
But of course, it's not all about the voice acting. It's mainly about the combat. Now this is the second game in the series. You started with in the franchise. Sorry, you started with War of the Roses. I didn't actually get that much playtime in War of the Roses, but playing War of the Vikings, you have simplified some of the systems a bit, correct?
Yeah, we tried to keep it when we first set out to do this, and when I pitched the idea of doing Vikings, our big concern was that there wasn't, they didn't have the drastic technological differences in weapons, and hadn't come along as far as they did by the 15th century. Well, in the 15th century, I mean, they were using black powder, like crude musket style weapons. I mean, so the difference in technology was quite extensive, and so we were kind of worried about that. And what we did was we tried to bring it into in alignment with how we imagined combat to be from that time period. And that was our main focus when we started working on this. So, their weapons weren't really designed for, fencing style combat. So their weapons back then didn't really tend to have a tip or a point. So we thought, that removing the downward strike, which in Rose's was a thrust, kind of made sense. If we were trying to kind of reflect that, it was really about left, right, and overhead swings, and so we wanted to really bring that out, and we also did want to try and make it a bit more approachable. There was some concern that Rose's, had a much steeper learning curve, and that could, scare people away, and it also, skilled players really, had a huge advantage in that game, especially if they had mastered some of the intricacies of the customization. They could basically build this pretty powerful kit. So we really wanted to kind of reflect our time period for Vikings, and and kind of bring that line and give new players this really cool move, which we did with the special move. It's really powerful, but it still takes timing, practice, and skill to use. But eventually, what ends up happening is the more skilled you become, the less viable that option becomes. And so, but it is embarrassing when you get hit by it as a more experienced player, because I find myself going, oh, how did I walk into that?
Because you see them, starting the animation, and it's like, why didn't I dash back?
Exactly. But and the beauty, there's like a small, it's almost like a poetry to the combat, especially if you've invested more time into it. You will be able to see the movements and how that player moves in a way that you really can't see in any other game, even more so than in Rose's, where you can see how the guys use the dodge, how effective they are with that, the maneuvering of their shield, or the strategies of how they use parry, or when they're doing feints with the swords, and switching the directions, and really utilizing those nuanced systems that come gradually as you get more invested into the game. You can see how somebody moves and know how their skill is before you see any of their weapons or from a distance. And I don't know there's not many multiplayer games. Maybe the only other game that really can show that off is maybe Mount and Blade.
Yeah.
And other than that game, I don't know of any other multiplayer game where you can see that. In a first-person shooter, those guys always move and behave almost the same all the time. To identify somebody on an individual level by their movement and be able to assess their level of knowledge and an ability to fight in that game, and how difficult of an opponent they might be. There's a beauty to that, and it's something that I'm super proud of that we were able to capture, especially by adding the dodge. If you see somebody using the special move a lot, you know that they're new to the game, and they're finding their feet, so so to speak, in this new style of combat, this combat that's extremely intimate, when you're up close with your enemy, and you guys, you're sitting there and you're fighting to the death, and there's just something brutally beautiful about that.
Yeah, and there's also, I mean, when I get into servers that have a bit more experienced players, you often get into the situation where there's one guy left on the other team, and then it automatically becomes, okay, it's one-on-one until it's over. Instead of ganging up, it's about honor. It's about skill.
Yeah, that's rare. Sometimes that doesn't happen.
Not all the time.
Sometimes people are really good at playing as a group, and I started finding myself just thinking about them more or less as a pack of wolves. a pack of hungry wolves, and they are just out to catch that guy who straggled off from the group, and they pick off that weak link. And it's just it feels this natural brutality, this kind of like the circle of life reflecting in this video game, which even though I feel like we've done an awesome job, we still have a long ways to go to make this game even better.
Now you touched upon a little bit about the vast customization of War of the Roses. Now, as far as I've gathered here in War of the Vikings, it's merely what's the word that I'm looking for here? It's cosmetic. Is exactly the word.
Yeah.
Is that true throughout the progression, or do you get into items that are
for the most part? Because going back to when we were discussing the combat, and as a player becomes more in tune with the system, as muscle memory starts to replace conscious thought of when to do a left swing versus a right swing, when to dodge attack, and swing that shot, when to find, when to use your special, because you still can use it sometimes, but it is something that is more for an entry-level player who's starting to learn to play the game more. But it's, what we didn't want to do was, kind of add this weird RPG element to our weapon alignment, because that didn't really also fit with the lore and that time period, whereas it did more so with War of the Roses, where they had different edge grinds, they had different designs for their fullers, they had double fullers, they had, they were mastering the balance of the hilt. They were mastering the pommel weight to balance out the blade to where it was extremely light and it was faster. Different blade lengths for different speeds, 1.5-hand swords, 2-handed swords. They had just this huge assortment of weapons and this mastery of that technology that didn't exist in that time period. So it felt weird to kind of imply and put those on. That may or may not have been the best choice, depending on what it is that a player is looking for. But we really wanted skill and the mastery of these weapons that everybody had the same access to, and that didn't unlock an even more powerful weapon at level 60, when being level 60 in our game likely meant that you were extremely powerful with or without those kinds of weapons, without an advantage. And it was more about the time period. The guys that were out and successful in raids and attacks and, were earning a lot of money from their Viking journeys, these guys bought a lot of crazy stuff. One of the most highly sought after materials for t-shirt or for their shirts to wear in the Norse culture was silk. And that was extremely expensive. And these guys, only those guys had the silk shirts that they could wear around. Well, I don't know if they wore them in battle, but those guys were the ones that were decorating their weapons, decorating their helmets, having the engravings, being able to carve, the animal that they felt reflected the power of their weapon, and doing these more expensive, extravagant things, buying a better sword and buying a better steel, but it didn't give them an advantage. They didn't buy a sword and say, this sword's going to give me a +5 on the battlefield, so I'm gonna go and buy this this sword for this upgrade. So we tried to avoid that and make it more about the skill and mastering those things, and that being kind of like a personal upgrade.
Yeah. For those of you joining in late and those of you in the chat, we're chatting here with Gordon van Dyke, executive producer on the War of franchise. If you have any questions, throw them up in the chat and I'll ask away. Now, there's a couple that have popped up already. Now, of course, War of the Vikings is a PC game, but Paradox is licensed to publish on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Let me ask you the dreaded question. Will it come to the next-gen consoles?
We're focusing on the PC right now because clearly, when we released, when you get out to a much broader audience than even in early access that we had, there is this an odd freezing issue that happens occasionally, and sometimes doesn't happen for certain people at all. We're heavily investigating that, and we want to fix a few things before we take on the challenge, which would be going to another platform. But it is absolutely possible from a technical standpoint, which wasn't true when you would look at a PS3 or an Xbox 360. And while it would be cool to have this like dynamic control system, it's definitely not possible on the Wii or the Wii. So.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to mention to the viewers out there that we do have 5 Steam keys to give away during the stream. So we'll talk about how you can earn them a little bit later on. But Gordon, what side do you prefer while playing? Are you a Saxon or a Viking?
Oh man, I find myself gravitating towards the Vikings. I mean, I wanted to make a Viking game, so when I put together the concept to do this, it was this was something that was kind of like something I really wanted to do. But I do really like the Saxons because I'm fond of the color red, and we chose red to be kind of more that faction's kind of color of choice. But yeah, I really enjoy playing as the Vikings, which a lot of people do. It's the funny thing is if you're trying to join and you really want to be a Viking, what you'll notice is that everybody who's spamming the icon to join as a Viking, they all end up in the green squad.
Yeah, I found myself doing that several times.
So, everybody that's in the green squad, you're probably pretty certain that they were spamming the icon to get into the Viking team.
Now, during the next 2 hours, we're going to be taking a look at hopefully all of the game modes. But can you shortly talk us through what the different game modes are and what the differences are?
Yeah. We have classic team deathmatch, which is like pretty straightforward. It's pretty much, I'd say, in a lot of game modes that are team oriented, and that's just the first to a certain kill amount. I think our current official servers are at 125 kills, or it's like a 20-minute timer. Then we have, and those are set on some of our medium to large size maps. So we have 2 map size types, or 3 actually: small, medium, and large maps. Then we have another game that we call Conquest, which isn't like the Battlefield Conquest, whereas this is a tug-of-war linear objective-based game mode where the 2 teams kind of clash head-on. So there's kind of like a front line, and they're both trying to push and control these control points and push the other team off.
Yeah, kind of run and meet in the middle, and then fight for the middle cap, and then it's a tug of war of getting to the next cap. And yeah, exactly.
And most of the maps have 5 control points. So typically there's a team that holds a numerical advantage, but then there's Docks, which has 2. So that one can end in a draw because there's also a time limit on that for the other team to win. And what ends up happening is at the end of the timer, whichever team controls the most control points wins, and they'll get like 600. I think it's 600 XP bonus for being on the winning team and 300 for playing the round. And then if it's the 2, you get a draw, and both teams just get the 300. XP, and then but if you push the other team entirely off and then dominate the entire map and win, then you get 1,000 XP for being on the winning team. So that's a pretty fun one, especially if you want a purpose for why you're there. It's not about kills, of course. Killing your opponent does hurt their ability to get in because you basically get control of the control point by having the most amount of players around that control point and trying to keep your enemies out while you capture and take over. And then we have a pitched, it's called Arena, and it's like a pitched game mode where it's 1 life, and that tends to be on our small to medium-sized maps. Whereas going just really quick anecdotal comment for the Conquest I forgot to mention was those are only on our large maps. So that's going to be on the much bigger maps. Then we have Arena, which is on our small to medium-sized maps. And so it's one life, and we've locked those down to 16 players max, so it's 8 versus 8. And it's very fit for, we see that more as a game mode that'll be more appealing to the competitive scene, because it is very,
very fast-paced and frantic.
To die, especially early on.
It's very, very fast-paced and frantic because it's like you said, you have not that many people on each team, and then it's 1 life per round, and it's the first to, I've seen it go from first to 12 to first to 17, best of.
Yeah, and that game mode, so there's you have to win the best of. So there's, it's set up in multiple rounds to win a match, kind of like Street Fighter, for example. Then we have pitched our battle, which is basically like arena but on the big maps, and I believe right now we're supporting up to 32 players on that game mode, because it tends to be spread out a bit more, and you don't have this huge cluster of people grouped together as much as you do on the other game modes, where it really puts a strain on the server to be able to calculate, sometimes almost all 24 players within a small area where almost every player is able to interact with every player, and that's very uncommon in multiplayer games. And it's been quite a challenge from the netcode standpoint. I'm surprised it works as well as it does, but we're continuously optimizing that, working on it, and we might just have some of the best netcode ever at the end of this journey.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, are you running dedicated servers yourselves, or renting out servers?
So we're both. So all the multiplayer ones that say multiplayer are all official hosted ones. So there's a consistent experience when you play on those. So you'll know that there's a certain kind of values. It's always the first to 125 for team deathmatch, and there's the same time limit timer for conquest, and pitched battle is just pitched battle. So, but that could vary in the amount of players per side. But then the rented servers, we wanted to make it a bit more open and sandboxy for them to kind of tailor it to more of their flavor. So if they wanted to push the boundaries of something, that we allowed them to do that as much before it started to basically melt the server. So we worked with Multiplay to find out where a threshold was for the different game modes and player capacity sizes. So we tried to do that. So if somebody jumps on a server and it's has a longer timer, there's some guys that have a conquest server and it has a 1 hour timer, because they wanted that to end with one person completely dominating. So you can go out there and find custom flavors or customized and tailored experiences out there as well, not just our kind of cookie cutter experience that we put on all the servers that are running each variant of the game mode.
Have you seen any low gravity servers out there? Is that a possibility?
We don't have that, but you never know. I think if we did that, we need to get our unranked server stuff working better, because I think in those scenarios, then you need to start. There needs to be the more openness we make in the settings, then we need to kind of figure out where we draw the line when it comes to racking up XP and coins and building out things. We don't want people to kind of feel like they joined a server and it was so radically different than what they had expected that it kind of hamper their ability to progress in the progression system.
That's true. Now we're coming up at the half-hour mark here, which I believe was the time that you had. But I just want to quickly touch upon the classes and the unlocks for the different weapons. So you start out with 3 default classes, or 3, right?
Yeah. Well, at first you start off with just the warrior. The default version of the warrior, which it's a good all-around kit. What we wanted to achieve with that was make a good all-around kit that a lot of different players could use for the first time, and it would help them understand the basics and kind of give them a chance after playing the tutorial to kind of get their footing in the game and trying to kind of just absorb what's going on around them. The shield, tends to be the better defensive system for if you're unfamiliar with how to parry and you haven't learned and mastered that skill yet. But it's a good generic all around thing. But it does take precision in aiming. It exists pretty much where it exists in the world. So a player can loop the edge of his axe over and around your shield and still hit you, which could be. Sometimes it seems as a little. People don't expect that. They kind of expect the more classic style of way games worked, where you put your shield up and it kind of created this force field around you.
And
whereas this one's a little less forgiving.
Yeah, and I've also had instances where I tried to shoot somebody in the back with an arrow as they're running away, and it hits the shield on their back, and that blocks it.
So even when your player isn't holding it up to create a barrier or to create a defensive layer between you and your opponent, like you said, it could be on your back, it could be on your arm still, and you're just holding it there, and somebody tries to hit you, and they can just hit your shield if they don't aim correctly. So it keeps existing in the world, not only when you're activating. So it doesn't use that kind of classic game mechanic of activation versus just physically existing in the world, and which is an example of our physics system that does drive this game is more. It is pretty intensive game. It's got a lot of calculations going on. There's a lot of precision to our hit detection. If you're playing as one of the champion guys who has a lot of face protection with his helmet and armor, you actually have to hit in his eye hole to get a head flesh shot with an arrow. So I mean, it's down to that level of precision. If you find a version of Monastery where there's hardly anybody playing, just try it out. Go down into the bottom in the little cemetery-like area where there's a tombstone that's like a cross with a circle around the cross point, and there's a little hole, and you can actually shoot an arrow through that. You can shoot an arrow through between the gaps in the boards and the fences and stuff like that, and actually hit an opponent. So there is a huge level of very nuanced level of detailed hit detection that that would likely goes unnoticed until you find that perfect moment where you're able to see that happened.
And that was the warrior, the first class. We have the second class is the champion who has the big axe and the armor, and then we have the skirmisher, which is the archer class, basically. But then later on, as you progress, you have 4 slots for customizable classes where you can kind of set them up yourselves.
Yeah, and that way you can kind of pick which primary weapon you want. You can pick your secondary weapon. It doesn't have to be a throwing weapon. You can pick different kinds of throwing weapons. There's also a javelin that you can equip you, and then for pretty much every weapon except for the javelin, we also have alternate versions, which is more about flair. It's about style, and that's what we wanted to keep it highly focused on in that area. So, and then there's the you can choose if you want a shield or not. You can choose different perks. The warrior classes are kind of like our jack of all trades. So he actually only has one locked perk, but he can select from a variety of other perks. Whereas the other 2 classes, they have their locked perks, which are unique and special, that are special towards that class. To kind of highlight where we wanted their strengths to be, but then they can choose from 2 of those perks, 2 custom perks that all the other classes have access to as well. So there's they can vary how things work, but then there's certain limitations to, for example, some of the classes. Whereas the skirmisher, it's most likely that what you want to do is you want to pick the the bow, and he only has access to the longbow, which gives him the longer range. So there is some sensibility to it, but we do lock some of the choices. We've changed it around a lot, so I might make a few minor errors because I don't typically play that. I usually play the champion and the warrior. But I'm pretty sure we've locked certain aspects of it. Like he can't pick the two-handed spear, for example. That's more for the champion and the warrior. And the champion can never pick a bow. But the warrior can take the war bow, which has a shorter range and heavier drop, but it's a little bit faster on the draw. So we want that as a kind of up-close and personal bow. But he can choose that and use that weapon as a secondary option. So he actually has that as a backup weapon instead of having to pick another weapon. So that's kind of a quick overview of that. There is choices that need to be made. The different classes do have different upsides and values. So that's where there is the nuances of the combat. There are different things you can pick. There's a perk where you can where after a certain amount of time you'll actually auto revive yourself. So if you don't get insta killed or if they don't finish you off after you've been knocked down, your guy will start reviving by himself. So that's a very good perk when when you're in the pitched battle modes, and being revived is absolutely essential and very critical to win as well. And then we have ones that like Bloodthirst, which gives you the ability to. Bloodthirst gives you ability, like when you finish somebody off or you insta kill them, you'll regenerate 25% of your health. Then there's another one when you finish somebody off or kill somebody, insta kill them, then you get a stamina. You get your stamina back.
When you parry, you drain their stamina and stuff like that.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different ones in there.
But are all the perks passive, or do you need to activate some of them?
Some of them you need to activate. So, like, there's one where you can fake dead, so which is good for conquest. And if you go up there, but the problem is if somebody sees you, he'll be like, "Ooh, I need to finish him off." So there is a risk-reward scenario with these, and we try to make sure that there's always that. Like, for everything that you gain, there needs to be something also that you've sacrificed.
Now, just. Final question. As a Viking, I have to ask, will the Vikings be able to dual wield one-handed weapons at any point?
No comment.
I thought so.
But that may or may not give you an answer, but I won't confirm or deny anything.
Well, great having you on. I'm going to enjoy the next hour and a half chopping up some heads. So...
I'll try to get home in time to get you. I have to go pick up my daughter from Doggus, so it's a very and I'll try to jump on the server and maybe we can team up. So if you add me on Steam, it's just Gordon Van Dyke.
Perfect.
One word.
See you on the battlefield.
Cool. Awesome.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
And with that, we say goodbye to Gordon. I see some miscommunication in the chat. We still haven't given away Steam codes for the game. That is coming up a bit later. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll flash one up on the screen. I'll have you take bets on my KD ratio. Stuff like that. We'll figure that out in a little bit. But I'm going to jump into the game. Let me just quickly look at any comments that I should... Nah. You all hang tight in the chat. So we're going to jump on to play online. And let's start with latency. Want low latency, obviously. And let's go to Team Deathmatch on Sanctuary. Oh, perfect. I get to jump in as a Viking right off the bat. So here I have the classes that we talked about earlier. We have the default warrior, default champion, default skirmisher, and then a couple of that I have set up myself. I'm going to start with this one with the big axe. Oh, come on. And does not go off to a good start. I'm going to blame my class, so switch that up. Oh, I thought I had him. Nobody coming in to assist. Well, that's... Oh, right on my blind side. Haha, well done. As you can see, we are on one of the small maps that Gordon talked about here, so very frantic. Oh, boom, headshot. Take that. Axe to the face. Helping out my buddy here. Beast mode. Now, jinxed it. I was just about to say that I was getting into the groove. Not the best of KD ratio, but could be worse. Trying to special attack me, I'll show you. Didn't wind up that hit quite enough, so couldn't finish him off. Oof. Now the mechanics in the game are actually quite interesting because you need to click either the right or the left mouse button to attack or defend, and then push it to the side into which direction you think the attack is going to come from. And there I've messed up. Hit the wall with my axe. Let me see here. Yeah. Feel free to cheer me on. That always helps. Okay, there's no game sound. So Nick, if you go into sources settings and you refresh AverMedia, that should bring up the game sound, and then select one of the sources that has the audio enabled. So sorry about that, guys, watching on the stream. There's no in-game audio apparently right now, but we are working on it. Oh, yeah. So now you can hear the bloodshed and not just see it. I kind of like this class here that I've set up with the big strong axe. Oh, kicking me. That's how rude. You're dead. Yeah. Let's try with a little bit of shield and sword. That's my kill. Dang it. And Apparently I was voted out. Interesting. Oh, that's a dual server. Oops, because I was just running around attacking everybody. Well, my bad. So let's go to the cliffs for team deathmatch. This is just the a regular team deathmatch. And can't be a Viking right now, so I guess I'll join the Saxons.
Team deathmatch. Kill the demons.
No luck with the axes there.
Strike back! The heathens are winning!
Accidentally hit my teammate there, but I think I made it all right. Took out the enemy and revived my teammate, so you know, it all evens out. Friend in trouble. Oh, got taken out with that spinning special attack. Let's try that one-handed axe. A lot of the people in the community are saying that the special attack on this one is overpowered since it has a huge arc that it swings through. But the thing is, I mean, if you see them winding up to do it, you should dash away and get out of the way. So it's, you know. That being said, I keep getting hit by it, so. No, too far away. Oh, almost had him.
Get over there! Those archers!
Oh. Not doing too good. What's my KD right now? 3 deaths, 2 kills, 3 assists. That's nothing to write home about.
Let's get in there!
Okay. Let us duel. Yeah, there you go. Proud of that. Oh, I went around the wrong corner. Ah. The game is not lagging, to those of you in the chat asking. At least not for me here. Did not hit him in the head like I had planned there. And a headshot. No! How did that happen? And I think I actually, yeah, team kill there. That's never good. Okay. Come on. No. It would have been nice. Oh. Nice one. I think actually, ooh, there's 22 minutes left of this match. I might actually bounce early and take a look at my custom setups because, Jesus. I think I have all of them set up based on the warrior instead of, for example, the hero, as I would like to have it set up, or the champion, as they're called.
Be my agent.
Yeah, heal up, nobody around. Oh, thank you for that in the chat. Telling me to scroll out the camera. Oh, sorry about that, buddy. Well, it didn't help that much, but thanks anyway. Current KD ratio is abysmal, 12-3. I wish I hadn't taken a look at that. It was, it's 12-3. So I have not doing good. Oh. Let's do something cheeky and go for a skirmisher with the bow. Now, come on. worst on my team? Quite possibly, yes. You see, this is, of course, let me explain. I am on the Saxon team, which goes against everything in my nature.
Eyes on fight.
Yes. Oh, too late. Actually, I'm going to quit out and take a look at my loadouts. See if I can set up a class that will give me more luck. So this is the loadout area. You have the 3 default ones, and then you have 4 ones that you can customize yourself. So let's start from scratch here. Let's start with a champion. What should we give him to fight with? Great axe. Now you can see here you can buy different types of weapons here, but as Gordon mentioned earlier, it's purely cosmetic. So no need to spend money on that. Although I do like this helmet. Secondary weapon. Do I want to go for something to throw or just... actually, I'm going to go for a one-handed axe. I'm going to go for ones that I've already... this one here. Now I can't go for a shield, and I have 2 locked perks. Stubborn, which heavy armor, 40% damage reduction. That's good, I need that. And a brawler, your swings, perks and blocks aren't interrupted by ranged weapons. So meaning if I'm have the axe prepared and get hit by an arrow, I don't get blocked out of that attack. Now, one of the perks that I absolutely would like to have is Strong Will, because that's the one that lets you rise up again if you're unmolested, lying on the ground after being hit. Let's see, Juggernaut, you're not knocked down by enemy attacks while sprinting, hard hitter. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for a tank right now. Let's give him a nice little look. Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna change this guy here. No, not this one. This one. With a one-handed axe as well. I'm gonna give him some throwing weapons. Javelin. Ah, don't have money for that. So just a throwing axe. What is this? I should have a throwing axe that I don't need to pay for. That's the one. And let's give him a shield. Now he has, of course, Stubborn and Brawler. But let's give him Agile Fighter. And let's try Feign Death. Don't have enough money, I only have 70 coins. Should have farmed before the stream, sorry about that. Blade Master. Yes. So let's try again. Ravine, Team Deathmatch. Let's give it a go. Somebody's asking in the chat, anyone remember the game that was similar to this from the early 2000s? Maybe you're talking about Mountain Blade, I don't know. Possibly. A game that's still going strong with a lot of mod support.
Deathmatch. Show no mercy.
And then I didn't select my new class, of course. More of the same. Being asked in the chat if you could turn up my sound a little bit. Maybe I'm just mumbling, but
Guard me, brother. I tend my wounds.
We have the upper hand.
see if I can get up behind them here. Yes. Yes, this is doing wonders for my ego. Oop. No. I thought you were a friend. How could you? Get taken out. Oh well. I like this setup. 2 axes. Because why try anything else? There's no way to dodge out of that. Let's see. 3 for 3. See if I can getting that a little bit better. Let's see. No. I made a mistake. Well, at least you get some XP for reviving me there. You getting up? Yeah. Yes. Heal up behind the tree. Doing okay, but yeah. Doing exactly what Gordon was talking about, just spamming the special attack. Well, tends to work.
I must bandage.
10 bandage. Now, the thing is, if you find yourself with low health, you can find this excluded spot and press B and heal up, or find a buddy and you both press E, and that takes less time to heal up. So I think it's a nice mechanic. get him up. So we are losing. How much is left? 7 minutes. Let's, for you guys in the chat, the one that can guess the closest to my KD, that is how many kills and how many deaths I'll have at the end of this match, will get a code for the game. That's always interesting. I'm currently standing at 5 kills, 6 deaths. We'll leave the assists out of it. So in 6.5 minutes time, how many kills, how many deaths will I have? Nick will be paying attention in the chat, I presume, and let me know who gets the closest.
Yeah, I just want to say we want like one number, so if it's 5 kills and 6 deaths, it'd be 0.83. So you don't have to guess the exact amount of kills or deaths, it's just closest to that number. But yeah, I'll watch over it.
Nick there, showing up. 0.9, okay, ambitious, but I'll take it. That's 1. Oh, taken out. Ah, didn't manage to dodge there. So yeah, to clear that up, Nick, you want them to just, calculate the difference in between, the actual KD number instead of saying actual kills, actual deaths.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. You take the amount of kills and the amount of deaths and divide them. So if you have 5 kills, you divide that by the amount of deaths. If that's 6, it's 5 divided by 6. And that's the number we want.
Oh, and it is all over. 6 kills, 8 deaths. We'll have
But maybe we should. Yeah, let's do this one. Maybe next one we should do like ahead of time so they don't guess. Up until 2 seconds before.
Oh yeah. Well.
But that was the first one. I'll see who got closest, and then we'll announce it in just a little bit.
And the same for the next battle here. Guess the KD. It seems to be going up a little bit, but...
So you had how much?
I had 6 kills, 8 deaths. Go with hero.
Team deathmatch. Send them all to
So
Dwight.
according to my calculation, you have 0.75, and we have Maximilian R with a guess of 0.77, so that's very close.
Yep.
And the closest we have, so congratulations to Maximilian.
Oh, well played, sir. Approximately how long is each round? 15 minutes on this server. So guess for this round what the KD will be. In 2 minutes time we'll lock it down. and see who gets the closest. Obviously, Maximilian can still participate for honor, but he will not get another Steam code. You're not taking out both of us, god damn it.
Let's say, as far as I can see, it's 13 minutes left of this game,
Yeah.
right? So let's say we run it until there's 5 minutes left,
Okay.
and then no more guesses.
Yeah, that was a weak effort on my part. And taken out. I do have the perk here where if I am left on the ground unmolested for a certain amount of time, I will get up to my feet at full health and be back into the battle without the dishonor of having lost a life. Which is why because in this team deathmatch, it doesn't count unless you finish off the opponent. So oftentimes you'll see people fighting over a fallen comrade, trying to help him up in order to not lose that important point to the other side. Yeah. Oh, a little bit too late on that. Of course, looked like a pin cushion. I got hit with so many arrows. I think if after this life I'll go to the skirmisher class and try out my archery. But first, you're going down, buddy. That was pathetic. Ah, 5-1. Jesus.
I love that everybody is guessing 0 point something.
Yeah, well, I would be too if I were them.
But before you had 12 kills and 3 deaths? And the other one?
No. Quite the opposite.
What?
I had 3 kills, 12 deaths.
Ah, okay. Then I was like, why are you not happy with the KD of 4? That's not bad.
How did I not get that guy? Come on. No. Okay. Game phase.
So the guesses we have so far, Max, I'm not going to let you guess again as you've already won. We have Synther on...
I said he could play for honor, but not a code.
Yeah, so the ones who don't play for honor. Synther on 0.79, Foz on 0.71, Biohazard on 0.67, Over on 0.8, Fubar on 0.75, and Cobran, Indian Cobran, our dear friend, on 0.5 after he changed his guess.
Yep. Okay. This is the life. This is the life where I turn on the beast mode. Yes. Die. There you go.
Guard me, brother. I tend my wounds.
Damn, these archers are good. Nice. Got a kill for that. Nah, it was a friend. Sorry. That's another kill. Maybe I should just stay an archer. Well, six and 9. Ah, hit from the other side. Die more, please. Well, my wish is your command, I guess.
That enemy has recovered. Let him have your steel. Terminate this.
So almost at the end, Dóri.
Yes, 5 minutes.
So we're about to end the guesses, and then we'll wait till the round is over with calculating the final score. So get your final guesses in now.
The enemy is recovering. Put them to the sword. Make them stay down.
Oh. Yeah, so they hit the allotted
All right.
points.
The enemy proved worthy
So,
and strong. Much glory
have?
will be had when we defeat
7 kills, 11 deaths.
711. Let's see the official calculation here. .64. Biohazard has 0.67. So I think Biohazard is the winner. Congratulations.
And we will try an arena match next in the ruins. Maybe, we'll try arena first. Guess I'll be a Saxon. So in this one, well, you have 1 life per round. And yeah, he finished me off. Maybe this wasn't the best game mode to go to after that slaughter.
I was about to say.
Somehow I seem to do a lot better in this game when I'm sitting at home around midnight after about 3 or 4 Red Bulls.
But the thing is, it is a little bit of a bad excuse, but it is actually harder playing when you're sitting here with the light in your face and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna use that excuse. I'm just not
Well, you
on
just
the top
did.
of my game right now.
You did just do that.
No. So it's best out of 5. The Vikings have 2 already.
Come on, I'll race you. Let them taste steel.
Oops, that was not what I wanted to do.
The invaders still defile our lands, but we shall not rest until our realm is purged.
Let's see. Try one more arena match and then I want to try to get in all the game modes.
Arena, cover your flanks. Stay light on your feet. You're on my list.
Oh, so close. These arena matches are, well, pretty short. It's 3 minutes, and then it's only, what, 4v4 right now? So, damn it. Oh, so so close to blocking that.
Do it. Repel the invaders. For king and glory. We're taking fire.
This directional blocking is so hard to master, for me at least. Because you need to, like I said, you need to click the button and then move the mouse to the angle that you want to block or attack from. And I tend to just go, try to block up. I don't pull the mouse to the side.
As the Lord is my witness, this loss
Let's
shall be
see if I can find a different game mode. GG. Ah, it's full. Here we have the conquest maps. Seems to be either empty or completely full. It's too bad. Let's try this. This is a 32-player team deathmatch server.
We may have lost the battle, but by the oath, we haven't lost the war.
Try a different tactic and start off as an archer. And brown wolf.
Team deathmatch. They shall fall like wheat for a sigh.
So Dóri, we're being asked in the chat if you can play this with the controller.
I do not know. I haven't tried it. I wouldn't want to, but I can see how it could easily be adapted.
Yeah.
Settings.
Another thing is, I think I'll post, we have 3 codes left. I'll post one of them in the chat at some point.
Yeah.
So join the chat and be aware. And then Dóri, you can sort out the last 2.
Yeah.
We have the upper hand.
Ah. How did I miss that? That's doing so good. There you go. Now I'm on a roll. Playing as a coward in the back, but you know, whatever works. I should have had them, you know, bet on this round, Nick, with a KD. Nobody would have gotten it. Yeah, knew that was gonna happen. Stay as an archer for a bit. Ah, that was the space button, not the alt button to dash. One more time.
We're shaming ourselves and our families! Fight back!
Master!
Ah, friend got in the way.
Keep the pressure!
What a mean lista! You are on my list!
Ich bitte Ihnen für Hilfe.
Meidkur, bræður!
We're letting these weaklings win!
Oh, just as I was about to melee. Let's see.
Onward! A fair game's not a bad, we?
Come on, bandage. Again with space instead of alt. Just going downhill fast.
Yes, sir!
Oh.
So Dóri, the last two codes. We could also give one to the best question we got.
Yeah,
Was there a question you thought was particularly good?
I think the best question actually came from Benke, but he's not getting a code.
Just post the code in the chat. Let's see who gets it.
Yes. So those of you glimpsing away from the chat, get in there right now because the code has been posted. First one to get it gets the game. I think it's the Bloody Gold Edition. I can't be sure. You can report back and let me know. That'd be nice.
And remember to say if you got it. Nice. Fubar got it. Congrats.
Oh. And taken out. Let's go for hero here. I'm gonna go back to the skirmisher. I was having more luck by sniping people than my dueling skills are lackluster. Oh, hello. It's the second time I've seen something like that happen, which is, well, admirable with a game with this complex of a netcode and many players. Oh. Well, the battle was lost, but still get a little bit of gold. So we have what, 20 minutes left?
But next time we shall gorge
Let's just do
ourselves
another
on
team
victory.
deathmatch and see if I can squeak out a presentable performance here at the end of the stream. I'll go for... I have two classes that only have axes, well. And I get to be a Viking, which is always
Team
positive.
deathmatch. Show no mercy.
I'm probably gonna come up in the middle here, a few of them.
We're falling behind. Fight harder.
Hey, I dodged out of that. What the hell? Yeah, don't mind me, guys. I'm just, you know, lying here in a puddle of my own blood. Thank you. Oh, I don't have any throwing axes. So. Oh, come on.
You're next, Víkingur.
Let's see here. I think I saw. Oh, never mind. Ugh. Back to the sneaky archer, which everyone hates, of course. Oh. Being helped up here. Headshot. Yes, that was worth it. The whole stream worth just that.
Finished here. Give me more! By the gods, give me a worthy foe!
Nobody spawning in behind me. Sorry, Vang34, that's just the only way I can actually achieve something in the game. Nah, that was bad.
That enemy has recovered! Let him have your steel!
Ah, actually, ah, too late. Not gonna be an archer next round, next life. Oh, did I miss?
Mighty blow from a mighty arm.
Ah,
So Dóri,
yeah,
last two codes. How do
Yes.
you want to give them away?
great question. Great question. What the hell happened there? You have any ideas, Nick?
No, not really, actually.
That was so terrible. Not gonna save me from here. Taken out by a teammate, it's always refreshing. And it's the other way around.
The battle is going our way! We're shaming ourselves and our families! Fight back!
So Gordon Van Dyke is in the game.
We have the upper hand!
Ah, come on. Let's see which team he's on. Oh, he's on my team, so I'm not gonna be killing him, but he's doing, of course, way better than I am.
The upper hand!
All right, I'm thinking. How about from now on, Dóri?
Yeah.
No, run away a little bit. We'll say a time, and at that point, will Dóri get a kill or a death as the next thing?
So, what do you mean?
So the next, you start a new battle. Will you first get a kill or first get a death?
Oh, I mean, you mean how long into the match?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to guess if it's a kill or death, and you have to say how long it will take before it happens. Next code.
And just so you know, I'm gonna go in. Oh, I'm gonna be, of course, in the Red Eagle squad with Gordon Van Dyke. And I'm gonna go in as an archer.
Unleash the fury! The glory of the dead!
Team deathmatch. Kill them all.
Yeah, and as Max is suggesting, let's go for Gordon's KD at the end of this one as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's my first kill right there, 29-32.
No one guessed it.
Nah.
So we'll have to come up with this. So we'll do Dóri's KD and we'll do Gordon's KD. You have the first, let's say, how long do we have left? Where do I have a watch somewhere? I have my phone. Let's do when it's 20 minutes, so another 9 minutes to guess. And then we'll end the guessing and then calculate at the end.
Okay. I'm not going into that battle with this low health. 2 guys there. Ah, in the back. Oops, sorry friend. Too late. Yeah, sorry, there was a delay on the stream, so by the time that you actually saw when I was gonna get killed was the time we were getting comments in the chat. So we're going for my KD and Gordon's KD at the end here. And Gordon is at 3-3, and I'm so far down the list I can't even see it. Yeah, 1 kill, 4 deaths. Which is pitiful, but
The section is rising! Cut it down!
okay. That's 1 kill more. That's 1 in the bank. Ah. we go. Help me out.
So yeah, final guesses. Get them in. Guess Dóri's KD and Gordon's KD, the developer we're playing with right now. If you missed the beginning of the stream, you can always go back and watch the replay afterwards. We'll have that up as a video. First half hour, we have Gordon on to talk about the game.
Yes. That is so satisfying. Should actually try to find somewhere and heal. I think I'll do that. And there's Gordon, who needs to be revived. Let's see if I can get there. Yeah, there was no defense against that. I like this class here. That was not good. Not good at all. So I'm at 5 kills, 6 deaths. Can kind of live with that. Nice. That should bring me level 6-6. And I'll throw an axe in the back. Feel free to help me up, guys. Yeah, too late. So that's the end of the match. Let's check it out. Well, yes. I have 6 kills, 7 deaths.
What did you say?
6 kills, 7 deaths. Gordon and Dyke had 11-11, so
All right, let's
came out
see.
even Steven.
I will do the official calculation now.
Yeah. But that brings us to the end of the stream. This has been me failing at War of the Vikings, ironically enough, claiming to be a Viking myself. I think it's the soft living of Denmark that's brought me to this point, but maybe I'll spend a couple of weeks of honing my skills and we'll try again.
All right, let's see here. We have Indian Cobra won your guess, and Over won the Gordon one. So you should stay in the chat so I can message you there.
Yes, and with that, I'm just gonna quit out and say my farewells. Thanks for following, guys, and as always, thanks for joining Gamereactor Live, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're not quite sure what we're going to be showing tomorrow. Have we figured that out yet, Nick? We had some ideas.
I think we're doing the Wii U stuff.
Yes, we have some Wii U e-store stuff and some games on the Wii U that we're going to take a look at, since we've been neglecting that a little bit. And then, of course, Friday news and GR Friday nights, Call of Duty. We're playing on which platform, Nick?
We are playing on PS3 this time.
PS3 this time around. So join this Friday and win some cool stuff. And I think with that, I'm gonna go and bow my head in shame, call my parents, let them know I've shamed the family. Thanks for joining in, guys, and as always, see you on the flip side.